Hi, I'm Rebekah Kuschmider, and I am going to share some thoughts on reproductive justice and the moral imperative of choice. But I can't start talking about that without first talking about my mother. My mom lived in New Hartford, New York, until she graduated high school in 1963. She was raised as a politically conservative, staunchly anti-choice Catholic. But don't worry, that part has a happy ending. She became a UU in the late 70s, changed her minds on reproductive rights even before that. The world began to open up for Mom when she attended Vassar, where she studied music. After graduation, she headed to New York City, where she went to Columbia University for their nursing program. After getting her degree in nursing, she took a position on the labor and delivery floor of Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center, now known as New York Presbyterian. That was the beginning point of her career in reproductive health. The hospital was located on the Upper West Side near Washington Heights. This was long before Lin-Manuel Miranda would make that neighborhood famous, long before gentrification would raise the socioeconomic profile of the area. It was in that urban hospital that my mother was confronted with the stark difference between what she was taught about sexuality and reproduction and what they're actually like. She remembers counseling women after they gave birth, telling them how long to wait to resume sexual activity, and being told by her patients that their partners weren't going to wait. They would either have sex when men wanted to, or the men would go have sex someplace else. Mom says that what she learned there was that there are a lot of relationships in the world where simply saying, "Not tonight, dear," doesn't work. Then there were the emergency cases. In these pre-Roe years, there was a section of the obstetrics floor set aside for women who came in bleeding or suffering from massive infections from back alley abortions, or abortions they tried to perform themselves. Mom recalled to me that it was probably 6 beds in total. They were always occupied. Hospital staff would pump those patients full of antibiotics and hope they would live. These patients, the ones who had babies they didn't necessarily plan on, in relationships that weren't ideals, or the ones who risked their lives to end pregnancies, changed my mother's view on the moralities surrounding reproductive care. When New York legalized abortion in 1970 and the hospital asked my mother to be the head nurse on the unit that would provide safe, legal abortions, she said yes. That oral history is the foundation of everything I know and believe about reproductive justice. My mother's experience teaches that the true moral question is not the question of, is abortion right or wrong? It doesn't matter, really. Abortion's going to happen no matter what. The true moral question then becomes, when is withholding medical care right or wrong? The only possible answer for those of us who seek broad intersectional reproductive justice is that there are virtually no situations in which it is morally permissible to deny a person medical care. Not regarding contraception, not regarding prenatal care, not regarding reproductive assistance, not regarding abortion, not regarding transition care. The moral imperative is building a system of true reproductive justice with all choices available to all people. As Robin Marty says in her outstanding book, Handbook for a Post-Roe America, reproductive justice focuses on other equally important issues, including reproductive health care access, pregnancy and childbirth, maternal mortality, reproductive technology and assistance, and so on. The framework intentionally goes far beyond reproductive rights to highlight the intersection of race, class, gender, socioeconomic status, immigration status, religion, and other intersections of women and people's lives. In our UU First Principle, we talk about respect for the inherent worth and dignity of all people. If we extend that principle into the realm of healthcare, it becomes clear that as Unitarian Universalists, we have a responsibility to seek reproductive justice on a large scale. We need to be participants in building a society that recognizes the rights of all people to seek care so they can live healthy and fulfilling sexual and reproductive lives. Our OWL program already makes us leaders in sexual education, and our history as being aligned with traditional feminism and abortion rights means that we can easily step into this intersectional framework and become advocates for true reproductive justice for all people. We are at a seismic point of change with regard to reproductive care access. and not for a good reason. There have been literally hundreds of laws passed with the intention of undermining abortion access in recent years. But experts in the field of reproductive rights have seen this coming a long way off. In preparation for this moment, grassroots organizations have sprung up to help people access reproductive health care in places where that care is difficult to find. State and local abortion funds, groups that assist with travel costs, groups that are run by and focused on the needs of people of color, queer folks, people living in poverty. They already have boots on the ground, and they're ready to welcome support in whatever ways we here can give it. I've even compiled a great list of national and state organizations for you to take with you today, because who doesn't love handouts, right? They're at the back of the room. Out of every tragedy comes opportunity. The tragedy we face in 2019 is the loss of the precedent set by Roe v. Wade. The opportunity we have is the chance to do what my mother did in the 1960s and look at the real sexual and reproductive lives of all people and begin to build a new system that serves us all. To seize the moral imperative and build a system that delivers true reproductive justice.